Welcome to another Verbling class. Today, academic English. We're going to focus on driverless cars. Hello, good morning.
Hi there, it's afternoon here.
Oh, well, see, I'm a bit of a time traveler, so it's morning where I am.
Okay, good morning to you.
How do I say your name?
İnanç.
Inanch.
Yeah,
Inanch, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you?
I'm doing good. What country are you from?
I'm from Turkey, Istanbul.
Ah, yes, I know the country well. A lot of history from that part of the world.
Yeah, exactly it is.
Yeah, you've got some wonderful buildings too.
Yeah, they are from Ottoman Empire. There are some nice touristic places.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, indeed. And how long have you been learning English?
Actually, I learned English 15 years ago, but I stopped studying. So in my routine day, I never speak English. I never improve my English. Then I decided to improve my English again a few weeks ago.
Okay, excellent. Well, in academic English, it's all about speaking, listening, and comprehension. We take turns reading a news article. You have to listen to what other students are saying because the second half of the class focuses on a discussion about the story.
Okay,
I
I
will
see.
also help a little bit with pronunciation.
Okay, I see.
Excellent. Hi, good evening.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. How was your day?
Today it's a summer day, very hot, over 30 degrees Celsius.
Ooh,
Even though it's still May, like August.
I think you wish you had my day today. It's going up to 75 degrees.
Oh, it's very good.
Yeah, nice temperature. So this is strange. Normally when we have class, it's morning where you are and it's evening where I am.
hmm
So now I'm at the beginning of my day and you're at the end of yours. Very interesting. All right, well, let me get things set up here. Okay, so as you can see, once again, I'm using Google Drive. And we're going to go into Hangout Notes, and that's where I have today's article. So let's go ahead and get started. And Hyde, I'll have you read the title and the first paragraph, please.
I'm sorry, I muted. I got this news today. It's surprising. No driver. Google car, right?
Yes.
Driverless cars weren't clearly legal. Google used an unorthodox campaign to change that.
And the paragraph, please.
Mountain View, California. About 4 years ago, the Google team trying to develop cars driven by computers and not people became convinced that sooner than later the technology would be ready to the masses. There was one big problem: driverless cars may be illegal.
All right. Let me hear you say weren't.
Weren't.
Google.
Google.
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next two paragraphs. Could you please read that, Inach?
Okay. And yet this week, Google said it wants to give Californians access to a small fleet of prototypes. It will make without a steering wheel or pedals. The plan is possible because by this time next year, driverless cars will be legal in the tech giant's home state.
Thank you. Let me hear you say this.
This.
Okay, I'm hearing this, not this. So where you're having some trouble is on the TH sound.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay, so here's how I pronounce it. Look at the screen here. This. So I'm blocking the air. My tongue is right here. And my lips come together like this.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear air trying to get out. So my tongue is acting like a dam. And to get the TH sound, when we release that air, we get the it's like a thrust of air. This.
Okay.
This.
This.
Better.
This.
Much better. Okay. That's something I would recommend practicing.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Luis, welcome to class.
Thank you, Simon. Excuse me.
Yeah, good to see you. I've missed you for a few days.
Yeah, I've been busy with my job, but I'm here today.
I understand. I don't know what it is, but on Wednesdays is when I have the fewest number of students. Other days my classes sell out, but for some reason on Wednesdays I don't get many students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's strange.
Maybe because the time of your class, I don't know.
No, they're the same time. But anyhow, so let's get reading, sir. Could you read the next paragraph that's highlighted in blue?
Me?
Yes, please.
Okay. And for that, Google can thank Google and an Unorthodox lobbying campaign to shape the road rules of the future in car-obsessed California, and maybe even the rest of the nation, that began with a game-changing conversation in Las Vegas.
All right. Rules.
Rules.
Rules.
Rules.
Yeah, very good. Unorthodox.
Unorthodox.
Very good. Unorthodox means not usual. Strange or different. Okay. Raphael, buddy, how are you?
Hello, Simon. I'm okay, and you?
Good. Just like Luis, I haven't seen you in a few days.
Yes. Busy as well.
Busy engineering, I take it.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you could make it, sir. Could you
Thanks.
please read the highlighted text? There's 2 paragraphs there.
The campaign was based on a principle that businesses rarely embraced. Ask for regulation. The journey to a law in California began in January 2011 at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, where Nevada legislator turned lobbyist David Goldwater began chatting up Anthony Lewandowski, one of the self-driving car projects leaders. When talk drifted to the legal hurdles, Goldwater suggested that rather than entering California's potentially bruising political process, Google should start small.
Okay, first of all, again, you're continuing with your impeccable pronunciation. There really aren't any problems. I just want to hear you say a couple of words. Rather.
Rather.
Rather.
Rather.
Okay, so it's a TH sound that I've identified here.
Is it rather incorrect?
It's not rather, it's rather. Okay.
So rather is incorrect.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're not using the TH sound. So the TH sound again is the, like the. Okay, rather.
Rather.
Rather.
Rather.
Okay, we'll try again. Now watch what I do here. watch my tongue. When I go to do the TH, my tongue comes up, stops the air, and then it releases it. So rather,
rather,
rather,
rather,
rather,
rather,
rather.
rather.
Better. There's still some improvement. Not being a pronunciation class, I can't take too much time, but I would just focus a little bit more on your TH sound. Everything else, Raphael, is very good. And this is not enough of a mistake that I don't understand what you're saying. But as a homework assignment, I would suggest practicing your TH sound a bit more.
Okay.
Bruising.
Bruising.
Thank you very much, Raphael.
Thanks.
All right. Sampoy, could you read the next highlighted text, please?
Okay. Here in neighboring Nevada, he said, where the legislature famously has an impulse to regulate lightly. It made sense to Google with high Goldwater. The good thing about laws is if they don't exist and you want one, or if they exist and you don't like them, you can change them. Lewandowski told students at the University of California, Berkeley in December, and so in Nevada, we did our first bill.
Okay, Nevada.
Nevada,
Nevada.
Nevada,
Them.
them,
Them.
them.
Okay, I don't know what everyone's having trouble with the TH sound today. The, these, them. Look at my lips, how I say each one. It's the same pattern. The, these, them, their, this. To get the TH sound, it's all about blocking air and then suddenly releasing it. Okay, so the, these, them. Now when we're speaking, we don't always have enough time for our tongue to completely block it. If they don't, see, I still get that blocking. Watch my lips. If they don't, you can change them. Okay, so let's try that again. Them.
Them,
They.
they,
This.
this,
Those.
those.
Excellent, much better. Keep that up. I would practice as well, Sampoy. Okay, let's go to some of the other words I heard. Hired.
Hired,
Excellent. Impulse.
impulse,
Neighboring Nevada.
neighboring Nevada.
Excellent. Well done. Okay, we go back to the other end of the class again. And, oh, we've got somebody new in class. Abdinal Hamid. Did I say that correctly?
Hello,
Hello, sir.
how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Thank
I would
you.
like you to read something for me. You just joined us in the middle of class. We're
Okay.
reading an article.
Okay.
You can get to that article by going to Google Drive.
Mm.
Okay.
Already done?
And then click on Hangout Notes.
Mm. Okay.
All right, so what you need to look for now is the text that's highlighted in blue.
Okay, the page is loading, so I can't see the content for now. So I'm waiting to load the page.
Okay, well, let me know when it's in and we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Hi, go ahead, please.
Up to that point, Google had quietly sent early versions of the car with a safety driver behind the wheel more than 100,000 miles in California. Eventually, government would catch up just as stop signs began appearing well after cars rolled onto America's roads a century ago.
Okay, versions.
Versions.
I'm hearing virgins, and you got to be careful with these two words. They sound different. We have versions, but I'm hearing
Virgin.
virgins. Okay, but they're very similar. Versions, virgins.
Virgins.
So the S in versions is Shh. It's like shh. Versions.
Versions. Versions.
No, I'm hearing virgins. Okay, so I want you to say shh. Shh. Shh. Versions.
Versions.
Versions.
Versions.
Versions. Perfect.
Versions. Virgins.
No, versions, virgins. And we don't want you to say virgins when you're saying versions.
Okay, versions. Versions. Versions.
Yeah, just think of shh. Shh.
Versions.
It's kind of like this. Let me spell it differently. It's kind of like saying this. Versions.
Versions.
Yeah. So think that in your mind, because that's really kind of how you're pronouncing it. Versions.
Versions. Versions.
Excellent. So we're at minute 15 into the class. If you want to come back later and re-go over this part, you're more than welcome to. So well done, Hai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Inash, it's your turn.
Okay. If the trigger to act was a bad accident, lawmakers could set the technology back years. Feeling some urgency, Google bet it could legalize a technology that, though still experimental, had the potential to save thousands of lives and generate millions in profits.
Okay, it's that word, it's that sound again. Though.
Though.
See, it's a TH. You got to start with a TH. Though.
Though.
Yeah, perfect. So it's like saying th followed by a long O. Th, O. Though.
Though. Though.
Okay, now let me read the sentence, and I want you to listen to how though sounds in a sentence. Feeling some urgency, Google bet it could legalize a technology that, though still experimental. Okay?
Okay.
All right, next. Luis, it's back to you. This paragraph, please.
The cars were their own best salesmen. Nevada's governor and other key policymakers emerged enthusiastic after test rides. The bill passed quickly enough that potential opponents, primarily automakers, were unable to influence its outcome.
Okay, thank you. Primarily.
Primarily,
The.
the,
The. There.
there,
Got to get that TH. There. There.
there,
There.
there,
There.
there,
The.
the,
The.
the,
Not duh. The. Remember? See, duh. Watch my lips here. Duh. Duh. Where's my tongue? Duh. Duh.
the,
My tongue is at the bottom. My tongue is sleeping. It's off on vacation. If you get the, my tongue is the most important thing in my mouth, right? It gets right out there. Look at me. Look at me. The. To get the TH sound, guys, it's actually not as complicated as you think. To get the TH sound, it must block the air between your two teeth. Simple as that. The reason you're having trouble is you don't use this sound in your language. Okay? I recommend in my next pronunciation class we'll focus on the TH sound a bit more, and we'll have tongue twisters to help us with it. All right, thank you very much, Luis. Raphael, sir, could you read... Oh, well, let's give you a bigger piece. Let's read those 3 paragraphs.
Next, Nevada's Department of Motor Vehicles had to write rules implementing the law. At the DMV, Google had enthusiastic support in Bruce Breslow, then the agency's leader. Breslow had been fascinated by driverless cars since seeing an exhibit at the 1964 New York World's Fair. Seeing a career-defining opportunity, Breslow shelved other projects and shifted money so he wouldn't have to ask for the $20,000 needed to research and write the rules.
Very good. Very well done.
Thanks.
Now, I can tell you have an accent when you speak, but you're very good at enunciating your words clearly. And that's really what's important. What you might want to start doing as you speak, Raphael, because I think you're kind of ready for the next stage, paying more careful attention to the emphasis you put on words and the use of pausing. So to become a little more poetic, so for example, let me read a paragraph twice and you can hear the difference. At the DMV, Google had an enthusiastic supporter in Bruce Breslow, then the agency's leader. Now if I add some emphasis and some pausing, it could sound like this. At the DMV, Google had an enthusiastic supporter in Bruce Breslow, then the agency's leader.
Okay.
Notice the difference, Raphael?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would try and do as you read is try to add emphasis and effective pauses when you speak, because your enunciation is very good.
Thanks.
Okay. Some point, could you read those two paragraphs, please?
Breslow had been fascinated by driverless cars since seeing an exhibit at the 1964 New York World's Fair. Seeing a career-defining opportunity, Breslow shelved other projects and shifted money so he wouldn't have to ask for the $200,000
Yeah.
needed to research and write the rules. At first, the DMW staff panicked. They only had several months to write unprecedented rules on technology they didn't know, but Google knew the technology and was eager to help.
All right, thank you. A couple of words I'd like you to repeat. Rules.
Rules.
Yeah, so rue, and then you got to take your tongue and put it at the roof of your mouth. Rules. Rules.
Rules.
Much better. Excellent. The. Not duh. Remember what I said about the TH sound?
The.
The. Much better. The. Yeah, see what? The only reason I'm showing you my teeth is just so you can see what I'm doing. And maybe it's a good idea when you're in class is to have a mirror close by and you can see if you're doing the same thing. The. Much better. Excellent. Next word. Okay, let me sound it out first. Shelved. Shelved. Shelved. Much better. Shelved. Yeah, because your tongue is doing three separate things. Shell. So we're getting that shell, and then we're going to a v, shelv, a very voiced v, and then a final d.
Shelved.
Excellent. Career defining. Driverless. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Abdulhamid.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Go ahead and read this paragraph, please.
Okay. Very few people deeply understand driverless car technology, said Chris Emerson, the self-driving car pioneer from academia who now leads Google's project. Offering policymakers information to make informed decisions is really important to us.
Okay, so the one mistake I think you're consistently making is you're speaking way too fast. Now, it might be nervousness, which is pretty common in class, but if you speak fast, it's harder for people to understand. So what I want to do is have you read the paragraph again, but I want you to go much slower.
Okay. Very few people deeply understand driverless car technology, said Chris Emerson, the self-driving car pioneer from academia who now leads Google projects. Offering policymakers information to make informed decisions is really important to us.
Okay, to me, that was much clearer. And because you went slower, I was able to look at sentences like this and realize where you needed help is more like here. Okay? So, yeah, going slow. And now let me read you the paragraph. If I was to read it slow, this is the speed I would read it at. Very few people deeply understand driverless car technology, said Chris Urmson, the self-driving car pioneer lured from academia, who now leads Google's project, offering policymakers information to make informed decisions is really important to us. Okay, let me hear you say driverless car technology.
Driverless car technology.
Dry.
Dry.
Verless.
Verless.
Driverless.
Driverless.
Perfect. Lord.
Lord.
Lore.
Lord.
The. Lord.
Lord.
Better. Academia.
Academia.
Perfect. Now leads.
Now leads.
Good. To make informed decisions.
To make informed decisions.
Excellent. All right. Hyde. Hello. These two paragraphs, please, Hyde.
Me.
Yes.
The task fell primarily to David Estrada, at the time the legal director for Google X, the secretive part of the tech giant that houses ambitious, cutting-edge project. Estrada would trek from San Francisco to Nevada's capital, Carson City, for meeting hosted by DMV staff. Breslow credited Estrada with making suggestions that made the regulations for shorter and less onerous than they would have been. We quickly jumped in to help figure out what the regulation should look like, recalled Estrada.
Excellent. Okay. Could you please say the word onerous?
Onerous.
Legal.
Legal.
Legal. Yeah, legal. Onerous.
Onerous.
Onerous. Thank you. All right. Oh no, I'm getting my people mixed up. Inash, could you please read the next two paragraphs?
Yes, of course. While others attended the meetings, Google seemed to have a special seat at the table. Bryant Walker Smith, who teaches the law of self-driving cars as a fellow at Stanford University, described one rule drafting session where Google, not the DMV responded to suggestions from auto industry representatives.
Excellent. I had highlighted the first time you said it, but the next time you said it, you self-corrected. Well done.
Thanks.
Okay. Next, Luis, could you read these two paragraphs?
It wasn't always clear who was leading, Smith said. It seemed to him that both Google and the DMV felt ownership of the rules. By the end of 2011, Nevada welcomed the testing of driverless cars on its roads. Google, however, was focused on its home state, where its Priuses and Lexus, outfitted with radar, cameras, and a spinning tower of laser sensors, were a regular feature on freeways.
Thank you. Focused.
Focused.
Radar.
Radar.
Excellent. Well done. All right. Raphael, the next two paragraphs, please.
In many ways, Google replicated its Nevada playbook, framed the debate, while potential allies with joyrides argued that driverless cars would make roads safer and create jobs. In January 2012, Google met with State Senator Alex Padilla, a Massachusetts Institute of Technology engineering graduate. Padilla was intrigued and agreed to push a bill. Padilla said Nevada's law helped him sell colleagues on the need to act.
Well done, Raphael. Well done.
I have a doubt about, is there a rule about reading longer statements without comma?
There's no rule. You got to think of it this way. When you're reading out loud, you're the one making the rules. Now, if you've never read something, it's a little harder, but what you want to do as you're reading is you want to look ahead. Look for a point where you think it would be good to pause. Okay?
Okay.
Don't let commas tell you where you should pause. Okay? And as you do this, you'll start understanding what you're reading more because you need to understand it to know where to put the emphasis and the pause. Sampoy, this last paragraph, please.
California is home to two things. Number one,
Sorry?
okay. And number one is the hotbed of innovation and technology. And second, we love our cars. So it only made even more sense to say, okay, we need to catch up and try and lead the nation. Padilla said.
Okay, catch up.
Catch up.
Yeah, it's just like saying the condiment ketchup. It's the same pronunciation here, only it's two words. Catch up.
Catch up.
Cars.
Car.
Thank you. All right. For those of you who haven't taken my academic English class, we now stop reading. The rest of the class, we focus on what this story was about. This is testing our comprehension. Yes, you were able to read, and yes, we focused on some pronunciation, but the real purpose is to actually understand what you are reading and to have a discussion. So you guys get to do a lot of talking. Do I have any volunteers who would like to first give us a summary of what we read?
Google created a new car, self-driving car. The driver is needless in that car. Driver, what driver need to do is only push the button. Then after that, the driver doesn't need to touch anywhere in the car. But so far, it is illegal. then the lawmakers need to change rule of the what's it? A rule of what's it? I don't know how to say it in English.
Okay, well, let me stop you there, because first of all, you're doing a very good job.
Yeah.
At the very bottom of the article, guys, I'm typing the points that Hyde is mentioning. What I want the rest of you to do, too, is also jump in and provide us your points. Tell us what this story is about. I want you guys to practice writing as well. So lawmakers needed to change the rules, or you could say the legislation. Okay. Go ahead, Hyde. Continue.
Continue. The Google created a lot of new technology, and even Los Angeles is a hotbed of cutting-edge technologies. And another thing is a kind of car. A lot of car makers in that place.
Okay, good. Nobody's typing. Raphael, Luis, Sampoy. Under summary at the very bottom of the document, I want you guys to type. Tell me, give me points about what this story is about, and then I'll ask you guys to discuss.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, and I try to do this every class. This is the same format. And while you guys are doing that, here's a shameless plug of my class. For those of you that are new, if you really like this type of class, I'm going to provide a link to my class at the top of the document, or to my teacher page. And on that teacher page, you get to see the next 6 classes that I'm teaching. And I might actually teach another academic English class later today. I don't know that time yet. I won't enter that in for probably a few more hours. I teach at least 2 academic English classes a week and at least 2 pronunciation lessons. All right, so I see a couple of students typing. Okay, I'm going to pick on students that aren't typing. Abdul Hamid. What's this story about?
The story is about driverless cars that Google made to take pictures for the streets in different places in the world, but these cars are not legal. So Google is trying to change this.
Right, thank you. Raphael, I see you're typing away. What can you add to the discussion?
As it was already mentioned, Google is trying to create a lobby in order to states change his laws about laws which doesn't allow driverless cars. They're trying to invest in this technology, but the states doesn't allow. It's illegal in the states, and they try to create lobbies to make this thing legal in the near future.
Very good. Now, we don't really say Google created a lobby. Google lobbied.
Lobbied.
Right. Okay, Google lobbied. And what do we mean by that when we say lobbied? Well, we're using a verb here to describe an action. And what they're trying to do is convince lawmakers, persuade. Persuade's a better word. Persuade lawmakers to their position. So when you lobby, you're trying to persuade. Okay, excellent. All right, Luis, I see you're typing as well. Please tell us your thoughts on this story.
Yeah, that I understood for the test, the article, because in United States there are different laws in different states. I don't know if there is a national law for a national drive law, as it happened in my country. So Google has to gathering if some states or all states in the United States of America trying to change the law, trying to gathering with the lawmakers and convincing them that have to change the law for initiate or make the continue with the driverless car project. And the primary argue, the principal argue is it's possible to create safer roads and more jobs in these states.
Okay, arguments. Okay, so there is no National Highway Traffic Act in Canada or the United States. Each state or province has their own traffic act. Each province or state is responsible for managing their own laws.
Okay.
Well done, Luis. Well done. Inach, what can you tell us?
Yeah. Already our friends told what is it about, and I can say that Google was trying to use an unorthodox method for this to be legal.
Well done. What was so unorthodox about their method?
They made some unorthodox lobbying, but I'm not sure what is exactly.
Okay, so let me ask everybody. Do you guys remember what was so unorthodox about their request? Or the way they... What was so unorthodox? Anybody remember?
Someone different?
Okay, I heard Hyde first. Hyde?
Orthodox means that conventional or normal.
Unconventional, but what was so unorthodox? That's the question.
The unorthodox means drivers needless.
They tried to change the road rules, I guess.
I'm not looking for guesses. The story is there. Let's see who can come up with the answer. What was unorthodox about the way they lobbied? See who be the
out
first.
of the current standards.
No, there's something they did that was unorthodox. You guys are brilliant. This is not a beginner class. I want you guys to come up with the answer. What was unorthodox?
Kind of activity, or lobbying activities, or unorthodox.
Sorry, what was the activity that was unorthodox?
Maybe changing the law or creating a new law.
Yeah, they requested that the government create the laws, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked for legislation. That was unorthodox. Instead of asking for permission to drive on the roads, they also asked for legislation to help make it legal. Yes, we want you to approve our driverless cars, but what we really need you to help us is come up with legislation that can govern the future use of driverless cars. So don't just allow us to have this one driverless car on the road. Have legislation that governs the use of all driverless cars by all companies and all models. All right. You guys did a good job. You definitely understood the article that we read. Now I want you guys to provide your opinions. We could be at a coffee shop, a Starbucks, a Second Cup, and we're just having a coffee. Maybe it's Turkish coffee. Turks make great coffee. And we're just talking. We're in a class or in a coffee shop together. What do you guys think? Is this cool? Is this dangerous? Is this, oh my God? Who wants to go first?
I think about car accident. If we crashed into the driverless cars, who need to pay the money?
The owner of the driverless car.
Yeah.
But there aren't going to be any accidents. There won't be any mistakes, right, guys?
How is the insurance?
Who cares?
Driver have insurance, but driverless car, who has insurance?
The owner. It's always the owner of the car that has the insurance.
Mm.
But there won't be any accidents, right? This is perfect. Technology always works, right?
Yeah, but there are a lot of cases. And
Come on. No, there aren't any accidents.
slippery road or a sudden storm or a lot of things.
No, those are all done by people. We're talking about computers driving cars.
Tornado or a lot of things.
Well, we can't worry about tornadoes. Let's just worry about actual driving. See, I think everybody agrees with you, Hyde, because nobody else is saying anything. And my new students, Inanj and Abdulhamid, don't wait for your turn to speak. If you've got an opinion, jump in.
Okay. I think this technology seems very cool, but I don't think it's possible in the near future. And there's a point, driving itself is also a fun sometimes. So always a driverless car is not fun, and it's boring too.
All right. Boring.
Yeah, it sounds cool, but it may get boring.
So is it boring, guys? Come on, Raphael, Luis, don't be quiet.
No, yeah, I'm thinking here. A traffic in a city, it's difficult a driverless car, because requests for the driver, actions every time, have to turn left, turn right, go straight. You have to brake, accelerate more. I don't know if that technology work in small city, but if you make a travel and you are in the road, if all the car there is this technology, driverless car, I think it should happen, and more safe. The road become more safe, because even the airplane requests the pilot for landing, for example. The airplane can't landing by itself, but during the trip, during the traveling, the airplane can travel by itself. So I think thinking in the same way of the airplane, when you get a big road, I think that technology can work.
All right. Anyone disagree?
Yes, but in an airplane, it's flying almost alone. There are few airplanes flying around here. But car, you have to walk you have to ride in a road full of cars, and they are cutting you in front of you and behind you, and also there's a lot of interference in the city. How will they control these cars, this great amount of cars? Which interface will they use? I don't.
Okay. I want you to agree or disagree with me here, guys, including Raphael. I'll give you the first chance to speak because I just interrupted you. We all know that when we're driving in dense populations where traffic is barely moving, this is the easiest to drive. There are no high-speed collisions. Nobody's moving. We inch forward. These are some of the easiest conditions to drive in. Or when we're driving on high-speed freeways where there aren't a lot of cars on the road and we're all generally going in the same direction, this is pretty easy too. There isn't a lot of work to do. Generally, you're staying in the one lane and you're not changing from that. The real challenge in driving comes from where we go from high-speed driving down to where traffic is stopped. We're moving slowly, then we go fast. When traffic is just starting to stop, this is where it poses the greatest challenges. Why is it that we think that computers can't effectively drive cars when humans are using their computers to drive cars? Are we saying that only biological computers can drive cars and that silicon-based computers can't? We all know that computers are faster.
But I can't believe full automatic car. Because, for example, airplane, they have auto drive already. But landing and touching the land, they need to drive by pilot.
Actually, planes have the capability of landing without the pilot. We, as a civilization, though, are just not comfortable with that. If you don't believe me, what about the US drones? These are completely pilotless vehicles. They can fly and land by themselves.
They are very small.
No, some of them are quite large. They carry bombs, some of them.
Like remote control.
Yeah, but I thought, Simon, drones is pilots remotely.
They can be controlled remotely, but they can also fly by themselves. And they can land by themselves.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you might have people controlling them, but you know, if you say, here's the flight plan, fly out there, yeah, they'll take off and fly out there. And then the controller's controlling the video camera and whether they should launch a missile or not, or take pictures. But think of it, would you want to have a drone that's you're having to fly and take pictures, or let it do all the hard stuff, let it fly, and then you take pictures and video, and if you see something you want to see, then you tell it, yes, fly over here.
For example, a very big airplane accident happened before. The bird attacked all engine, then the engine, all engine stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And the captain was very good. He had a lot of experiences. He landed in the Hudson River. In that case, automatic technology can't do that.
Why not?
Only humankind.
Well, couldn't automatic technology, if programmed, learn to identify other alternatives of landing, including water, and then using its databases to identify the best angle to land and then land on water? Why couldn't a computer do that?
Well, because computers can be infected with viruses, and
So can people.
Some hacker can invade the system and put a virus on it and maybe control and maybe cause bring problems to people.
True.
Right?
Raphael, did you see the movie Apollo 13?
Yes.
What happened to one of the astronauts? Did he catch a virus?
Yes, yes.
Did he become very sick?
Very sick.
And was he able to fly properly?
Not really, but...
No. So apparently people aren't immune to viruses too, right? People can get sick. In fact, even worse than people getting sick, there are lots of cases where pilots fall asleep. They miss their landings.
Exactly, but if a virus infects the system, and it can cause accidents and can destruct cars and everything else.
I think if you look into the numbers, I don't think there are any incidences where viruses have affected computers because they're closed systems, right? However, there are many cases where pilots fall asleep. They get bored. They miss their landing spots.
But you have your co-pilots.
They fall asleep too. And due to cutbacks, you don't have 3 people flying in a plane. You might only have 1 or 2 pilots.
Yes, but it's hard to happen.
But it does happen.
But in my opinion, it's easier for a computer to get a virus and be controlled by other or a bad intentioned person.
Well, I disagree because it's not like your home computer where these computers are hooked up to the internet. They're connected to private networks. It's kind of like your car. Your car is run by maybe 30 computers, but no one's ever heard of a car catching a virus.
Yes, but the most protected network can be infected by a hacker.
True.
So it's not 100% safe either.
No, but it's not 100% safe. And this is a good debate. I enjoy this. You look at how many accidents happen because of human error. You look at how many pilots fall asleep and miss their landing spot. The technology, I'm not saying is perfect or will work. I'm just saying we've got to think. We've got our brains, which are essentially organic computers, and we've got these silicone ones. At what point do the silicone ones become better tools than our own brains?
I agree with Raphael. Because maybe hacker can hijack or carjack easily, like
Maybe.
remote control.
Maybe.
They need to ride on the airplane. Only hacking.
How many of you guys remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies where he's a robot come from the future?
Yeah, we remember.
Terminator.
Terminator movies.
No.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Skynet?
Yeah.
Okay. Now think of Skynet, only now think of Google with its network. Think of self-moving vehicles. And are you guys familiar with that company that Google bought? Let me see if I can find it. I think it's Boston Dynamics. That's going to take a while. Let's see, YouTube. All right, let me share this out. Where's YouTube? Two minutes left, and I'm going to start playing a video. I think we might run a little late today. But it looks like Google's not working with me. They know what I'm saying. They won't let me use YouTube. All right. Okay, I want you to look at this video, guys. I've shared out YouTube. This is a company that Google bought. No, this is not it at all. I don't know what happened. Let's try it again. Oh, computer's frozen. Let's see, can I get back? Yes, I can. All right. Doesn't look like it's going to work, guys. It's broken on me. So here's the link. Oh, it's now come up. It's slow. Here we go. So this is a company that Google bought. Now, these are without any skin on them, but these are robots, and these were working as of last year. It's able to walk up steep slopes. It's able to run. So now you take that autonomous ability, the ability to go anywhere. Google's large network, it has maps. It knows where everything is. How far do you think Google is away from being Skynet? Now, true, that's a four-legged animal, but they're also working on two-legged versions of it as well. So I don't want to spend all your time watching videos, but if you look at the YouTube and you look up Boston Dynamics, you'll see they've got one creature that's humanoid. It stands upright. It runs. Yeah, cyber wars are coming.
Yeah.
So I don't think the real scary thing is here about driverless cars. It's about the building of Skynet.
But this machine is controlling remotely, or artificial intelligence is working?
I'll leave that with you to look into. But there is a bit of a scare factor there. But anyhow, guys, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to try to have another class later today, but it depends on how much work I can get done. If I do, it will be an academic English class. Maybe I'll do more on robots, who knows? Or maybe I'll do a describe what you see class. Okay? Thank you so much for coming, guys. If I had a way of messaging you, I will, but just go to my teacher page in a couple of hours and see if you see a class. If I do teach today, it'll probably be around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, my time.
Okay.
Thank you, Simon.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
guys, thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.